If your air conditioner is not working on your R and V bodies, Enclave, Acadia, Outlook, Traverse, this is the video you need to watch. So here we are inside this Enclave. We're going to start it up here. We'll set it all the way cold. Turn the blower motor down so you can hear me better. Alright, we've got our AC button lit up. We've got recirc. See if we can hear any hissing. Well, it's definitely not cooling. Here we are underneath the hood. I'm going to show you what I look for under the front. All right, guys, so we're going to start looking for leaks. We're going to look through this grill at the bottom. Look along that condenser there. You're looking for like green AC dye. That's what we're looking for in here, and I don't see any there. It's hard to tell, but you can see a little bit through this grill right here. I don't see any AC dye there. I'm gonna go looking right through here. There's a line. Let's see, it's right there. A lot of times that line leaks, and there's also a spot. If you follow this line straight up, there's a spot where it gets really close to, I guess this would be called the radiator support, and it will rub there and rub a hole in that one as well. So I would look for that line. This line here don't really give too much trouble, and there's one spot back here in the back I see them leak, and it is okay. So where that power steering line, and there's an AC line that goes to the rear right there. Sometimes that power steering line will get over there and rub a hole in that air conditioning line. I would look there, and if you don't see anything in the front, I'm gonna say that you need to look at the rear evaporator first. Primarily, if it's a 2013 to 2016, GM has released a bulletin, and I'll link it in the description below, and you can have a look for yourself. And what they're saying on that bulletin is the copper dust from the rear blower motor is causing corrosion into that rear evaporator. They have a redesigned blower motor. It's kind of more closed up, and you're supposed to clean the case and replace that evaporator. So that's what we're going to be doing today. All right, let's get this wheel off. All right, so I've mentioned this before, and I work on commission, basically. I work for flat rate hours. So the way I do this and the way I go about it might be different than the way you would do it at home, and that's fine. This works the best for me. So this is the way I'm gonna show you to do it. This is how I do it, the quickest way I can do it. We're just gonna get to it. Get you a large drip pan like that right there. We're going to catch all the coolant that we lose. Also, this system had a leak, so it's not, it doesn't have any refrigerant in it. If your system does have refrigerant, or it's cooling just a little bit but not, please just, be responsible about getting it out of there. Okay, so all these right here are T20 Torx. Okay, I like to just kind of pull this back. Most of the time it'll stay. If not, take your bungee cord, hook it back. All right. All right, so here's what you got. It's what it looks like under here. The first things I want to do, these are your rear heater hoses. There's 2 tabs, one on each side. You want to mash. You kind of feel it. All right, and when you mash them both, mash them both, and then you can pull it straight down. That's where that big drain pan comes in. All right, I like to go ahead and pull the plastic clip off. If you don't, it just hangs up on it when you try to lift the rear case out. And here is what that clip looks like. Now, you mash it on either side. I have had, you know, a higher mileage vehicle. They get trash in here, but just road debris, and it makes it hard to mash. You can take a blower, some compressed air or something, blow that out, and that'll make it easier to squeeze. And then sometimes it even gets stuck on the O-ring. So if you've got any lubricant or anything, you can spray, you know, kind of spray around the top and let it run down a minute, and then it usually comes off a lot easier. So I get to do it one more time, show you a little better. Mash the tab on both sides, and then pull it straight down. Again, go ahead and remove your plastic lock. And go ahead and install it right back in the line. All right, next we want to break this line, or this nut loose that holds the AC lines on. All right, so this little gadget right here, I really like a lot. So basically, it takes the power and turns it at a right angle. It's not quite 90 degrees, but it's good enough that'll allow us to get right in there. So I just put it on my 1/4 inch driver. All right. There's our 13mm nut. All right, there's 2 additional nuts that hold the case to the rear floor here. Got a 10 on that same adapter. There's 110. There's the other one. So we're done down here for right now. All right, so as soon as we get the back cleaned out here, we're gonna lower the 2 front seats. Go ahead and lift and pull out. We need to take this piece out. We also need to take this piece here out. This piece here, and you just pull straight up. There it is. There's 3 13s, 1 in each one of these holes. All right. All right, so we can grab this right here, up and out. I didn't even pull the screws out, I just left them in there. We're gonna take this one seat out here on the passenger side. There are 2 18mm bolts there. Just drag it out. Got these 2 30s. They had these little plastic covers on them. These are T30 Torx. Set them aside. All right, there's a 7mm screw here. Alright. So there is a 7mm screw behind this little hook. The twist and pull. Now this piece right here has got to come straight up, just like that. Remember, we got two 7mm. I'm gonna have to get an extension for this one, but we got a 7 here and a 7 here. Now go ahead and get these out of the hole, or you'll be trying to find them later. Alright, so now we're going to pull this panel away. I'm going to grab it. This panel's got 3 little push-ins and 1 clip. Alright, so when we pull this panel away, we've got a seat belt that's anchored right here. Now, if it gives you too much trouble, you can take that bolt out and you can, you can maneuver that anchor there to where you can get this panel around it. But I just lift straight up on the panel and it comes out between that wall there. Alright, so here is our rear HVAC case. We've got 1 connector right there. Alright, but we've got to get the Christmas tree off the case. Alright, so I'll just take some pliers. I know you can't see real well. I apologize. Just got to do it. So here's the little Christmas tree that goes in the little hole in the case. So once that's out of your way, we've got a couple of 10mm and this thing is ready to set out. Now the one that holds the case is longer than the 2 that hold the duct. Alright, so this is what our case looks like out of the vehicle. Here's your blower motor. And you notice that you can see it's got almost like fins around this blower motor. That is the old design that General Motors says introduces the copper dust to the evaporator. So we're going to be replacing that. Matter of fact, we're probably going to start by pulling that one out. Now everything on this case is a 20 Torx. And evaporator. I guess we could start with the bottom. We'll pull this seal off right here. This one here, it will tear. It's glued to the case, so when you pull the case apart, it will tear. So we need to look at these these small clips here, right here. I think there's 5 of them on the bottom here. I just take a small screwdriver, pop them loose. There's 3 on the main case. Well, that one jumped away. I don't even bother unplugging the actuators. I can just pull them off. Set them aside. Get the rest of these screws out. I missed a screw. Alright, so what we're going to do to clean this, we're going to pull this stuff out right here. I just kind of lay it out like it come out. Got some glass cleaner. Spray it in there real good and wipe it out. And you want to do both halves of this case same way. You want to be real thorough. Go ahead and take that blower control processor out and get in there as well. I got this side all wiped out, cleaned up. I like to turn these, make sure they're not binding in any way before I put all the screws back in it. So here's the new blower motor and here's the old. See the difference? So this one's sealed. It's sealed to keep the copper dust from getting to the evaporator. And just reassemble it. Now would be a great time to replace those seals on the AC lines. You can get right to them there. They're just right down here. Remember, the long one goes in the case. And the shorter ones go in the ducts. Whenever you use power tools, it's always a good idea to start this stuff by hand. Remember, we got to pull this panel up and slide it between the seat belt and that fender well. Alright, so here you can see a better angle. These two screws that we got to put in. Now these sockets here are magnetic, so that helps a lot. They don't do great on the 7mm screws, but they do hold it good enough to get them in there without dropping them 100 times. You don't want to drop them down in that area. You have to pull that panel back off. Alright. Got our little hook that push in and turn. And there's that. This rubber seal goes on top of that trim panel I just put in. Start these 10mm nuts by hand. Using our little adapter. Alright, you remember when we took our heater hoses loose and we took this little squeeze, I guess a little squeeze retainer out? So now all we have to do is just push them back on till you hear the click. That's it. Alright, so you want to be careful not to over tighten your lug nuts. I'm just going to run them down with this impact, and then I'm going to go over them with a torque wrench. A little extra step, but if you ever have to change a tire on the side of the road, you'll appreciate it. Alright, so we need to remove this trim panel here, this little closeout panel. There's a bunch of these little plastic buttons. I like to just take a screwdriver and kind of work them up. Alright, then get them up far enough, get underneath the second part, and get it out. On the ends, say over in this area and that area, there's 2 Christmas trees that hold the rubber seal. And you'll just kind of pop them up the same way. We'll take all these off, and then we can get the radiator cap. This right here is not the radiator cap. If you just fill this with coolant, you'll run hot. Now that we got that off, we can take this radiator cap loose. And this right here is a great little funnel. This one's made by Lyle, I believe, and it's what they call a spill-free funnel. So you put that right there and kind of screw it on, and that holds. It's got a seal on the bottom of it, so it holds it against the radiator. And now we're going to fill our coolant in the funnel. All right, so we got our funnel on here. We're going to fill the coolant through here, and we're going to go ahead and fill it up. And because this is going to be the highest spot in the coolant system, it has a really good chance of getting all the air out of the system, and we'll go from there. All right, once it quits going down, we're just going to go ahead and start the car, and that way it'll work all the air bubbles out. The thermostat will open when it gets hot enough, and any air that's trapped in there should come right up to the top. Alright, let's start it up. Alright, so our engine's up to temperature, the thermostat's open, and here's the beautiful thing about this funnel. So you take this plunger and stick it down here, and then you can pick the whole funnel up, go right here to the overflow, take the plunger out, and just like that, you fill the overflow. Alright, so only thing left to do is charge the AC. It also needs 3/10 of an ounce of refrigerant oil. Now, how much it needs, we're looking at this sticker. Right here, you can't really read it, but it's 2.48 pounds. So 2.48 pounds, 3/10 of refrigerant oil, and this one's going to be ready to go. Now, I'm not going to charge this one here. I'm going to take it to the dealer and let them evacuate and recharge it. I just don't have the equipment here. So that's got it wrapped up. This thing's going to be blowing cold in no time.
So there you have it. We just replaced the evaporator in this 2013 Enclave. Just show you how it's done, take the mystery out of it. And hey, if it's something you don't want to tackle, at least you know what's involved when you get somebody to do it. So thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button and tell me what you think. Thanks.